So, from the age of 3, it was incredibly obvious that I would be a lover of music for the rest of my life. And throughout my journey as a musician, I never thought that math would be so involved in music. I thought that they were complete opposites because one is incredibly logical and almost cold-hearted, and math is just pure expression of emotion through sound. And so I never thought that music and math would be related, but then I was sitting in a little class called Math Quest for Wonder, and I realized, wow, musicians are some of the best mathematicians out there. This really started to become obvious whenever I started hearing things called drum fills, which if you don't know, a drum fill is basically an exclamation point at the end of a consistent beat. So if you've been hearing a consistent beat, then you want to change it up at the end. So an example is this. So that's an example of a drum fill, and my favorite drum fill that I had ever heard was played by John Bonham, the drummer in the world-famous band Led Zeppelin. And this fill that I heard, it was in Stairway to Heaven, and when I heard it, when I learned it, it was just the most simple thing ever. It's going from the highest note that you can play on the drums, the snare, to the lowest, which is the bass. It sounds very simple, but whenever you hear it, it's something else entirely. So that's one way that music is involved in, or math is involved in music. And another way in drums is with rudiments, which are basically just hand techniques that every drummer needs to know so that they can build speed, alternating between two different hands, and then they can apply it to different kinds of drums. Examples of this are a single stroke roll, which is just alternating between both of the hands with one hit. Double stroke roll, which is 2 hits alternating between both hands. And then it gets more complicated with something called a paradiddle, which is just right, left, 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 over and over again. And then my favorite rudiment, which is the 5-stroke roll. So this is just scratching the surface of how music is applied, or math is applied to music, and that's just with this one instrument. It is a million ways with other instruments in music theory, and I just think that it's one of the coolest things ever. So to wrap it up, I think I'll play a little drum solo for you guys.